Carries that big briefcase, all he's got in it is a pen.
Microphones are on?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Do it.
7:03, I call the council meeting to order. Roll call.
Bennett,
Here.
Bertolo.
Here.
Lane.
Here.
Mealy.
Here.
Sinning.
Here.
Woteki. Matthews.
Here. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Third time today.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the annual schedule of regular meetings herefore adopted and posted on the public bulletin board at the municipal building, emailed to the Hawthorne Press, the Herald News, the Record, the Gazette, and all persons who have requested the mailing of such schedule, and a copy of said schedule has remained on file in the office of the Borough Clerk from and since November 29, 2018. Before we begin, I just want to throw congratulations out there to Alex Woteki. Obviously, Councilman Woteki's not here tonight. He's attending the completion ceremony for Alex's Marine training. So thank you, Alex, for serving your country. I know everyone in Hawthorne is thankful that you are. Approval of the minutes. Have a regular meeting of April 3rd, 2019, and the bid minutes of 2019 Road Improvement Program.
So moved.
Motion by Bertolo, second by Sinning. Any discussion? Roll call.
Sinning.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment on agenda items. Now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard on agenda items, come forward to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing none, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bertolo, second by Lane. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Adoption of ordinances, we have none. Old business. Gary, we'll start your way.
I have nothing.
John?
I talked to Eric, it's all squared away, I'm good.
Bruce?
Nope.
Dominic?
I'm okay.
John?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I just want to first thank Michael and Eric. Last Wednesday, we met for a while.
It's a long while.
It was a while
It's a while, all right.
to go over the questions that I had about the ordinance, and Michael gave me all the information along with the copies of the antennas and all the other products that they'll be installing at some point somewhere. So I just wanted to say thank you, Michael, for that, and thank you, Eric, for the time that you spent. Eric, do we know if the DPW building got a CO yet?
I know that, I just heard Steve tonight that they've approved it. I don't know about whether we got the
Right.
CO.
Can we find out specifically? I mean, you know, we're in there, we're using it. We should have a
Okay.
seat here. The last time I heard it was just
Painting the-
it was a plumbing.
Was it painting a gas pipe yellow?
Right.
That was the last time. And that has been painted, so that was the last thing I knew of that.
Okay. And did you, have you heard anything from the state with regard to the paving of Goffel Road where it goes underneath 208?
I haven't heard back from the state. I called PSC&G directly. They said they would get on it. We'll see whether that happens. You know, I leave messages for the state. I haven't got any confirmation back from them that they're doing anything.
Okay.
To follow up. PSC&G said they would, and we still have the leverage with the CO on the substation if they don't.
Right, okay. And the other question that I have is, we had discussed with regard to the back of the building and the front of the building as far as cleaning it up, mulching it, put some flowers down so it looks presentable. Is there any progress on that?
Yeah, we're doing, we're having our landscape contractor do a cleanup and then do which isn't in their contract, but we're doing extra services for that, and then do the mulching, which is in the contract. So we were holding off on doing the mulching until we got the price on the cleanup to see if that was something we can go for.
Okay, and what about the flowers?
I do know that they reached out to the Environmental Commission, and they are okay. They were going to recommend some specific flowers to them to plant. So
Okay.
it's a work in progress.
Great.
Talk about this building, John?
Yes.
I think Raina had something that she had talked to us at the Christmas thing about, there was some plan that she had, but I don't know where that ever went.
Yeah, they want to do the John want to do something in addition to what they were doing to make it a little more.
Make it look nice.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
so, but.
the rear of the building is probably 90% used for
Correct,
entrance to
and-
the building
and
than the front.
We've reached out to Raina, and I think she's had a discussion with someone in my office, and they're gonna get something done.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I have, Frank.
Eric, for old business, did the county ever commit to when they're gonna grind out the stumps on Lincoln Ave?
Nope, I will follow up with them.
We still on the bad list? Yeah, now that they, prevailed in court, would be nice if we get something for our county tax dollars.
It would be.
Okay, thank you. John, any new business?
No, Frank.
Dominic?
I'm okay.
Bruce?
No.
John?
Just real quick new business. I guess this is a good time to, or place in the meeting, to thank Dominic and Jeannie Mealy. Dominic especially. He's behind the scenes, if people don't see him, down at the Pocket Park and putting flowers around Diamond Bridge Avenue. And he always makes that area look very nice, and he takes good care of it for everybody. So I saw you working, Dominic, and I appreciate it. I think the townspeople appreciate what you do down there, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
And that's it. Oh, you were down there too working?
No, I said thank you, Councilman.
I thought maybe I had to thank you too for it.
Have the trash cans been emptied more often than not? Because I know a lot of his planters, before he put the plants in, were being used as garbage
Receptacles, right.
bins.
It's both, Frank. They-
I
they
saw,
use-
I saw them there, I was like, well, hopefully when they put flowers in them, that won't continue. But I know we had talked about that once before, whether that was gonna increase in pickup, because they've been full.
Well, I know we've been
Mr. Burke does it.
We've been talking about that, between the garbage company picking up.
We never
or
really got
not
a
picking up.
resolution, though, of whether it has picked up.
I'll make sure.
It
it's
hasn't
on
gotten
the
better, I
Okay.
can tell you
schedule.
that.
Okay,
So I'm not sure. In fact, I was gonna send you today, Lafayette, by Rite Aid, the cans were overflowing.
That may have been where they
Because of
couldn't get to them
construction.
because the road was closed
Yeah, I'm not sure.
when they were doing the sidewalk, so,
Somebody's getting to them, they're putting garbage in them.
yeah, that's true, but it could be.
All the
people-
construction workers.
Yeah. It's, Eric and I, we had talked, we
Correct.
think B&B, I think B&B is emptying them and they're leaving the lids off and they're not closing them. Because
Right.
when Billy does it, the lids are on, he closes, you can tell.
Yep.
It's just, so we were trying to get to the bottom of that one.
And they throw the garbage.
Anything else?
No, I'm good, I'm sorry.
Gary? Okay, and I have no new businesses. Well, we do have proclamation. It's the 50th anniversary of the Municipal Clerks Week. And we do have a proclamation that we'll be presenting to our clerk. So Lori, if you can step forward.
She's been with us 50 years already?
she's done very well.
So it's pretty good for a 50-year employee.
Started when she was -4.
I'll make it at 15.
All right, so as the mayor says, the TV's over there.
Over there, okay.
So this is a mayor and council proclamation for the 50th anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, is the oldest established office among public officials. And whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the local governing body, all agencies of government and citizens represented by the elected and appointed officials of each community, and the municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality, impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the municipal clerks continually strive to improve service given to the community throughout participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, annual meetings, and their country, state, national, and international professional service organizations. Whereas this May will mark the 50th anniversary of the Municipal Clerks Week, celebrating the importance of the role played by municipal clerks in the sound administration of government. And whereas Municipal Clerks Week, which began in 1969, has been recognized by proclamations issued by Presidents Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, taking place during this first full week of May each year, and this is signed by the mayor and the county council. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Wow.
Well, you know I can talk, but I'll
Thank you, council. I
Thank you for what you
appreciate the
do.
recognition.
Yes,
Very much.
you do a great job, Lori.
Do I shake the hands? No.
No, you're a regular here.
Thank you for typing that up for us.
I'm glad you liked it.
You wrote it, right, Frank?
There was a couple Lori's the best in there, but
Yeah, I see you missed a whole paragraph.
that's all right. Now turn to administrative agenda presented by Mayor Goldberg.
Thank
Mayor?
you, Council President. I've been asked to speak slowly so that someone from Mawa can get here before
They're in the
the
lobby.
meeting starts. Celebration and Shred Day was a success as always. We shredded 6.4 tons of paper on Saturday. Please join us on May 1st, street dedication, 2 weeks from today. The street dedication is at 1 p.m. on the corner of 7th and Ray Avenues in memory of Fireman First Class Joseph T. Duffy, United States Navy. As you know, last week we had an incident when the Environmental Commission was working on their rain garden. I have a statement from the chair of the Environmental Commission that I'd like to read into the record. On behalf of the Hawthorne Environmental Commission, we would like to thank the Hawthorne Police, Hawthorne Fire Department, Passaic County Sheriff's Office, Passaic County Hazmat, and New Jersey DEP for responding to Hawthorne's environmental incident at the overflow lot on Wagara Road last Thursday, April 11th, 2019. Our contractor, Downs Tree Service, was building 2 rain gardens at the entrance of the existing pathway to Passaic River. These 2 rain gardens will capture the stormwater runoff from the existing parking lot. The larger rain garden, 400 square feet, was excavated and backfilled with soil, and there were no hazardous materials or observed stained or discovered soil in this rain garden. During the digging of the second garden, 200 square feet, Downs uncovered a single canister and it was punctured by the machine emitting a chemical. Immediately, local authorities were notified and took appropriate action to protect our residents and businesses. NJDP identified the chemical as, bear with me here, methyl trichloroethane. Removed the canister and all the surrounding contaminated soil. NJDP did not identify any additional canisters in the immediate area of the rain garden. With the NJDP cleanup complete, the parking lot and adjacent ball fields are safe to use, and the rain garden project is now on hold. The Environmental Commission is working with the mayor administration to conduct further investigations of the area. Again, I'd like to thank everyone involved who ensured that our contractor, employees, residents, and businesses were protected from the environmental incident, and it's submitted by Raina Leosa, Hawthorne Environmental Chairperson. I also want to add my thanks to our emergency responders, our police department, fire department, EMS, also to the sheriff's office, to county hazmat. When I went down to the scene, I was approached by the county hazmat who said, we're in charge of the scene until DP gets here, and he gave me a briefing as to what had happened and what was being done. Spent time down there with Chief Speranza at the command center and with a couple of our OEM officers who were there as well. DEP did arrive to clean the site up that night, and when they left, the site was declared clean. However, we want to investigate further what may be down there. We don't know whether this was a barrel that was buried, or whether in one of the times the Passaic River flooded, it floated into Hawthorne because it was only 9 inches deep. So we have a proposal that are we going to discuss it tonight or not? Probably not tonight, but at our next meeting, as to do an environmental check to see whether there's anything else in that area, because I want everybody to know that the ball fields are safe to use. There is no danger down there, but in the abundance of caution, we will spend money to make sure there is nothing else in that area, which is really across the brook from the ball fields. So the ball fields were never really in jeopardy. We staged there because it was a safe distance away from the spill. And that was the only reason there was any police, fire, and ambulance presence in the regular WAG parking lots. Everybody responded well. Everybody acted professionally. It was just another example of how Hawthorne gets things done. And I'm grateful to the DEP because I believe they bore the cost of the cleanup. I think their comment was, this one's on us, anything else is on you. So we want to check to make sure there's nothing else there. But I do want to thank Raina Environmental Commission for getting involved. Raina came down with me to show pictures of the area to explain where, what had happened and how it had happened. The one Downs employee went to the hospital, was released shortly after he went. And we were monitoring the air quality down at Wagara Road. And we did evacuate basically out of an abundance of caution. We asked the businesses on Passaic to leave and a couple of other houses. But all in all, what could have been a real bad situation turned into a not so bad situation. I'm grateful for everybody who helped make sure that that was the case. Coming up at the end of the month is Arbor Day, and we always like to honor Arbor Day. As you all know, we are a tree city, and I just got a letter from the Arbor Day Foundation saying that once again we are a tree city. So even though we're cutting a few down, we're planting enough. We're still a tree city, and Diane Krasinski is here from the Shade Tree to accept this presentation. Off, am I on? Okay. Now, what we usually say, they have the television cameras there. So if you want me, as a matter of fact, I'll let you stand on this side so they can see you.
I got to use it first tonight.
This is familiar to me because I get to read it every year. Whereas J. Sterling Morton, a pioneer from Detroit and a lover of nature, settled in Nebraska Territory in 1854. And whereas J. Sterling Morton advocated tree planting, and on January 4th, 1872, proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting trees. Whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed on April 10, 1872, with a planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas 2019 is the 147th anniversary of Arbor Day, which is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind, water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And if you live in Hawthorne, there's lots of wildlife in the trees. Whereas trees in Hawthorne increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, beautify our community, and wherever they're planted, trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas, to quote J. Sterling Morton, each generation takes the earth as trustees. Now, therefore, the mayor and council of the borough of Hawthorne do hereby proclaim April 26, 2019 as Arbor Day in the borough of Hawthorne, and we urge the citizens to plant trees, to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and to support our community's forestry program. And it's signed by me and the entire council. And Diane, that's for you and the Shade Tree Commission.
Thank you very much.
As most of you remember, because it wasn't that long ago, one of our accidents was involved in a traffic accident, causing that ambulance to go out of service. And at the time, I believe we had another ambulance out of service. And it was really kind of a dark day for the ambulance corps. They really weren't sure how they were going to be able to service the borough of Hawthorne. Then came John Lane and the Mawa Ambulance Corps. And I should point out, John is a councilman here in Hawthorne. He works in Mawa. He's on our ambulance corps. He's on the Mawa Ambulance Corps. So John was gracious enough to say, I think we may have an extra rig in Mawa I may be able to get as a loaner. And sure enough, John worked his magic, and an ambulance came down here, and we resisted painting it Hawthorne on it. We painted it Mawa. But that's a remember to what Mawa's done. So John, I'm not going to ask you to come down. I'm going to ask the Mawa, the ambulance people to come up. We have some proclamations and awards for you. And Kenny, if you and Nancy want to come up from our corps. Camera's there, so, but you won't be on TV at Mama, so you're safe. First, I want to thank Mawa for their generosity in helping out Hawthorne in our time of need. It's a true spirit of towns and the cores working together to protect everybody and all of the people involved. I know that my corps is extremely grateful for what you did, and hopefully we'll never have to return a favor, meaning you won't have an accident. There was a great discussion as to whether to give you a proclamation or a plaque, so we did both. First, we have a plaque, the Borough of Hawthorne Certificate of Appreciation for the Mile Emergency Medical Services, Inc., for the generous kindness and spirit of community given to the Borough of Hawthorne and the Hawthorne Volunteer Ambulance Corps during February 2019. It's signed by me, and it is suitable for framing, so I framed it. Thank you. And thank you. I also have a proclamation, which, to be kind to everybody, I won't read. But it shows again our gratitude as a borough for what you did, and that the borough will always be grateful for what you did for us. And I just can't thank you enough. So we have a proclamation. So I hope you have a blank wall in the building where you can fit in.
Take Lane's picture down, you have plenty of room.
Kenny, you want to say something?
Yes, I do. We cannot thank you guys enough for your help. John, thank you for facilitating this. I'll never go to Lake George again because I got the phone call when I was up there. We really appreciate everything. I've known Bob for years. Good to see you again.
It is.
We cannot thank you enough from organization. Words cannot express it. We got you a nice plaque. And even that doesn't do enough from my heart. And recognition and appreciation to the Mobile Emergency Medical Service for your extraordinary generosity and selfless act of service. All our gratitude and respect for the Volunteer Ambulance Corps. So we cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
You can take John's picture down.
On behalf of Mawa EMS, I just want to thank Hawthorne for being so thoughtful. We are separated by borders, but we are all family. Whether it's Hawthorne or White Glove or Midland Park, Mawa, whatever. We're all part of a big family. When one squad needs help, we want to be there for each other. I know the shoe were on the other foot. We can count on it going the other way. So the good thing is the accident was not terrible in terms of injury.
Correct.
Everybody's good. That was the important thing. An ambulance is just paint and metal, and we're happy to give the extra one that we just happen to have. And hopefully you guys get back on your feet and get that new rig in, or 2 new rigs. How many rigs are you buying, Mayor? 3?
He's got a built-in defibrillator.
Anyhow, we thank you for the.
Listen, I really appreciate it. We appreciate you waiving the mileage fee on the rig as well.
Just keep it clean.
Quarter mile. Well, tell it to them. I know that they can't express themselves enough, just that they all wanted to come out here to personally thank you for what you did for our squad. You raised them up when they were at a low point and really brought enthusiasm back to the Corps. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
Can we
Thank
get
you.
a, Mayor, I'm sorry. Can we get a group picture?
I want a group picture.
Yes, please. Can you guys, would you guys mind going around that way?
Sure.
Mayor Ross, are you in a picture?
Yeah, get in there.
All right, we're in here.
Get in.
We're sliding.
Wait for everybody.
Filter in.
Kneel down up front.
Tall guy in the back.
part of the court, that's why.
He's usually in the rig.
Very nice. 1, 2, 3. Let me just do one more.
Speech.
1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
We both have blonde hair.
I just want to say just a couple words to you guys, okay? The administration, mayor,
Thank you.
the council, thank you for your support after the accident, okay? We were put in a bind. You guys are helping us, and I cannot thank you enough. Without your help, I don't know what we would do. Thank you. Mayor, I do like the idea of having a borough employee ride ambulance during the daytime. Think about that one.
All right, John, can you be here during the day?
What?
It's all right.
So thank you very much.
Thanks, Kenny.
You're welcome.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. No. No, there's not, Lori. Let me look in the cabinet.
I would like this. I'm good. I didn't get any mokies on me. Come here, honey.
Tissues. There's usually a box of tissues right there.
I know, right? I think I'll put a safe kid in here.
All right, Council President, at this time, I would call upon our Borough Attorney, Michael Pasquale, for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to all who are honored this evening. It's a nice turnout. Less congratulations are due, unfortunately, with regard to the county turf field, as you all know, and as I made you aware last week. The appellate division last Monday did, in fact, issue its ruling determining that the DEP commissioner properly allowed an artificial turf field to be located in an historic park. The appellate division felt it was okay for the assistant commissioner to staple a copy of a resolution that was not adopted by anybody to his letter and say that he did his job, which he really did not. But unfortunately, the matter went the way I think many of us expected it to go, and we will be living with a turf field where a grass field could have very easily been installed. Right across the brook, the county did a beautiful job putting in 2 baseball fields with grass. Why they couldn't do it on the other side is beyond me, but that's what happened. We stood up, we fought the fight, we stood up for our residents and for our heritage and history, and we'll continue to do that. Affordable housing matter is continuing to have talks, but again, no real progress with one property owner. On May 7th, we go back to court, and if we continue to have no progress, we're just simply going to submit the plan that we have put together and submit it to the judge for his consideration. Again, we have 18,000 people who live in this town. We have 8,000 property owners and 1 who's holding up the entire borough. With regard to tax appeals, Monday, May 6th, we will have appeals at the County Tax Board. Tim Henderson and I will be working with residents who have pending tax appeals to see if we can resolve those in advance of appearing. You can call the assessor if you have a pending tax appeal at 973-427-1169 and leave a message for the assessor, and he will take a look at your appeal. The zoning ordinance was delivered finally to everybody. You all have a copy. The planning board has a copy, each member, and each member of the zoning board has a copy. Also, certain people in the building, such as our zoning officer, our building official, Steve's office, also have the ordinance. I want everybody to take a look, read it. It's a couple hundred pages long. It's not going to be a quick read, but I'd like within 30 days to turn it around so that we can get this thing moved to the next step, which is a completed project. On the band shell front, we continue to fill in the slots. We have some, what I think will be very exciting news, which I will announce at the first meeting in May, where we have a couple of acts that are really different from what we've presented before. I'll just say that. We are raising money. We are now over $11,000 in funds. We need about $16,000 to present our shows. So we are getting there, but we're not quite there. So anybody who's listening, please give. Mayor, that's it. Thank you, by the way, on behalf of the Lions Club, for those who supported our beefsteak. We had a great night and raised a lot of money, so thank you to the community. That
Thank you,
now
Michael.
officially concludes my report.
I appreciate that. Next, we go to our borough engineer, Dr. Stephen T. Boswell, PhD, PE, and whatever initials are on your nameplate.
You done?
Yeah, pretty good.
The band shell ADA viewing pad and walkway construction began yesterday and will be completed probably by the end of the week. The Goffle Hill Water Storage Tank LSRP Services, a pre-construction meeting was held on Thursday, and Earthworks will start the work on April 29th to get that started. The Mary Street LSRP Services, we took some additional soil samples. We went down about a foot and we hit some hard pan. To go deeper than that, we would need an excavator, and if you need an excavator, you have to have a mark out. So we're hopeful that the samples we collected will be clean and we can stop right there, and we don't have to go any deeper with the collection. The Lafayette Ave streetscapes, Carol is working on doing phase 2. The Mary Street water tank, you'll have, tonight you're going to approve resolution R8919, which is a $207,000 credit off of the amount because we put things, and keep in mind, Brave Industries was like $500,000 lower than the next low bidder, and now we've just saved another $200,000 on things that weren't necessary, so that's good news. The NJDOT municipal aid grant, the borough received, as the mayor reported at the last meeting, $377,000 for Arlington Section 2 and Alexandria. The plans were prepared for the 2018-19 local aid project, which includes Alexandria, Arlington Section 2, Hutchinson Avenue, and Roosevelt Avenue, and were submitted to the DOT for comments. Depending on their comments, we'd like to bid the project and be able to award it at the May 15 council meeting. I would greatly appreciate it if you also approve R9119, which is our design work, which is all done. It'd be nice if you would approve that. Thank you.
You can take your time on that.
Whiteborough Road tennis courts, the tiles have been put in. They look beautiful. I want to let everybody know the white lines have been painted. Do not panic. The yellow pickleball lines are being painted tomorrow. So they will all, so it came out beautiful. The nets are being put in tomorrow also. So everything will be done. Looks really nice.
So when will that be ready for use?
Friday. It'll be a good Friday. The tax maps, we thought we were done. Trenton came back with some novel comments to Tim Henderson. We'd never heard before, and he'd never heard before about master lot numbers. So he's given all that information to our office. I think he completed today. We'll get it all done tomorrow. So they'll be all finished by the next meeting. Certainly by next meeting, actually by tomorrow. The Southfield effluent pumps we already talked about. We're waiting for the pumps to come in. Everything's functioning now, and the new pumps are due in at the end of April and beginning of May. Emergency permits, the emergency generator air permits, the borough got the 4 invoices, and the state website says that they're now in place, so Eric, if you didn't pay, don't bother.
I think we paid it last meeting.
And they're all in place right now. And finally, the 2019 road program. Tonight, you're going to award R9219, which is about $1.2 million. Very impressive road program. I've said it before, but Hawthorne is one of the most prospective communities in which we work when it comes to taking care of infrastructure. This is a very large road program, and the residents all benefit from having all their roads in good shape. And again, since we are awarding the contract to the contractor, we would appreciate if you'd award our fee for having already designed everything and
I
bid
think
it.
you mentioned that already.
Again, you don't have to rush.
Now, that's another one. The mayor always makes us do everything at risk. So that completes my report, Mayor, unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Finally, I call upon my borough administrator, Eric Maurer, for his, looks like very brief report.
Very brief report tonight. At the pool, work continues on the improvements we're making in the off-season, plus our normal preparation of the facility and hiring staff in anticipation of our Memorial Day weekend opening. We already talked about the trench on Goffel Road at the 208 underpass. Steve talked about the revaluation. Well, my report's really going to be short. Would like a meeting with the ordinance committee next week, Tuesday, Gary, for the, we have some things that have accumulated where, you know, while we've been looking at the zoning ordinance and we're unable to meet a couple times, and I'd like to get those through the committee. And I asked Joe Witecki for an IT committee meeting sometime in May, so we'll be scheduling that. We'll be looking at the new, the upgrade to the servers that we have. And finally, there will be a couple budget tweaks that I'll run by the Finance Committee before we adopt the 2019 budget in 2 weeks. They will not affect the tax rate. And as I get more information, I will be reaching out to the members of the Finance Committee. So we're good to go on that in 2 weeks. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Eric. Council President will be happy to answer any questions. Gary?
Just a comment. I find it ironic that the historic people and all we couldn't have a ambulance building in the park because it was historic, but we could have a phony soccer field. Well, soccer is probably more important than public health, I guess.
And Gary, just so you know, they are milling and paving that portion of Goffler Road that you were concerned about.
Yeah,
That's being done.
that's why.
Steve or Eric, now that we're going to award the road improvement, do we have a plan for the?
We have it, John, I'm sorry I didn't get it to you, you get it tomorrow.
Okay.
It's
All right.
pretty straightforward.
All right.
What we've done, we're just maintaining an 8% grade to get from the parking lot, so it'll be barrier-free. It gets people up onto the field. And I don't know why, I wrote a note to give it to you. We have it, we just didn't give it.
It's going to be done cement or?
Asphalt, part of the road program. If you want, we can do it in concrete.
I don't know. That's why we were looking for the plan to see what it comes out, what it looks like.
Which is better?
Well, it's actually, which is better is probably concrete, but it's more expensive. But you're only talking about a 25-foot, 30-foot walkway, so although it's more expensive, even if it's twice as much.
Well, can you send the plan? Maybe we can take a look at
Yeah.
it. We want it to look nice. We don't just want to look like continuation of a road
Agreed.
into the grass.
Well, if
You know,
they're not.
If nothing else, it should be, you know, banded in concrete. The mechanic's just going to chip away over the course of time, and that's going to be another trip hazard, just like the path.
It's a good
So-
point, and you should have already gotten a drawing.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow we can take a look at it, and if we have to make adjustments to it, we'll make adjustments to it.
Will do.
So, got it, that's all I had.
Bruce?
No, nothing at this time.
Dominic?
Steve, who's in charge of the roof for the library, like cleaning up the leaves? Is it us or is it you guys?
We don't have any cleaners. We don't.
We're in charge of that.
Eric, do we have a contract?
The general rule has been, just
Yeah.
in the borough, outside the building, the borough takes care of
Right.
it. And inside the building, the library.
But you made a comment, we have to clean the leaves on the
Correct.
drains.
Right, and generally, that has been done by the DPW. I know Bob's in the back if he wants to comment.
Bob, you want to comment?
Cleaning the scuppers and the drains on the roof of the library.
Right, we're doing that, we have a company coming out.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Get a little back feed from people. One in particular,
Right.
yeah, my wife.
Tell her you checked.
I got a ladder for it.
And it's being done by an outside contractor through the DPW.
Okay.
John?
Michael, if we decide, or I'm sorry, let's start over. If we go to Judge Brogan with regard to our plan and the master is in favor of our plan, and the judge rules on it, it can still go to court and go for a trial? Would that be correct?
Well, there's a lot of routes it could take from here, but the bottom line is, if the judge approves our plan, there's nothing to stop the owner of 204 Wagwell Road from appealing to the appellate division, the Supreme Court, or everywhere else that he chooses to go. It seems that the goal is to try to make it as costly for the borough as possible. And we're not going to play by that kind of rule. I mean, we look out for what's best for the people,
Exactly.
and that's what we're going to keep doing. So,
Okay, and just to add on to what Gary said, if you look at, see what the old boys club renovation was, that's not historic either. Because when you're upgrading an historic building, there's from the historic preservation from the state, there is specific items that you have to put in, specifically windows, siding, trim, all has to be approved by the Historic Preservation Committee. Otherwise, it's not historic. And vinyl siding or aluminum siding, I don't think is historic, and neither are the windows that are there. So, I can, I think we all concur, Gary.
Yeah.
So that's all I have, Frank.
You're using logic again, John.
Better shake the roof on it.
Keep in mind, like on the bridge, on Warburton, they made us put
Right.
we needed a real guide rail, but they made us put the historic guide rail back and then protect it with the real guide rail. That was all SHPO.
Yeah.
And how much time did we waste with historical architects?
Oh, no, you're right.
A year.
Certified historic landscape architect.
Yeah,
2 years. In the same park.
I wonder what they think of an artificial turf field.
Probably not a lot.
Okay, any more questions for the administration?
No.
That concludes the report of the administration.
Can I have a motion to record the administrative agenda? Motion by Bennett, second by Bertolo. All in favor? Motion carries. Introduction of ordinances, we have none. Resolutions. We have consent agenda R85-19 to R92-19. R85-19 is Borough of Hawthorne payroll dated April 12, 2019. R86-19 is redeem of tax sale certificate. R87-19 is award contract for leaf collector equipment. R88-19 settle tax appeals. R89-19 is final change order for the Mary Street tank. R90-19 is Boswell Engineering Services for 2019 road program. R91-19 is Boswell Engineering Services for 2019 NJDOT road program. And R92-19 is award of contractor for the 2019 road program. Have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Bennett, second by Sinning. Any discussion?
Yes, Frank, just on 9219, to allude to what Steve said, through the DPW committee, we had a number of alternates that we had on there, and all the alternates are going to be taken care of because we have enough money to do it the way the bids came in. So, I mean, it's just, I think this is the most money we've spent so far in 1 year on our road, so I think it's going to be a great project.
Last year, I said that our $1 million was the most we've ever spent, and obviously this year, we've increased that by 20%. So congratulations to you guys for figuring out how to get more done, and hopefully we'll catch up with more potholes than normal. Any other discussion?
Just one other thing. Steve, you weren't here one night when I mentioned to Mike, when they do the road resurfacing, could you make sure that all the manholes are level with the blacktop?
Yep,
Please?
we will.
Okay, thank you.
He doesn't like the thump.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Also the inlets, both, it's the manholes and the
Yeah.
and valves. And, sorry,
Want to keep going?
no.
Any protrusions?
I'm sorry.
Worked on him, so I figured I'd do that. Roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertolo,
Yes.
Lane,
Say yes, John.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sinning.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Off cassette. R93-19, we have emergency budget appropriations. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bertolo, second by Lane. Any discussion? Roll call.
Sinning.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Reports of special council committees. Gary, we'll start your way.
Well, as Sarah said, the ordinance committee will be meeting on this coming Tuesday.
Okay. John?
Only the finance committee, I guess we'll fine tune it before adoption on May 1st of the budget. And again, if any council person has any questions about it before May 1st, feel free to contact myself or Eric, and we'll answer any questions you may have on the budget.
Do we have to meet again, John?
No.
We have to meet
No.
anymore? No?
Well, we'll see.
Eric had a couple things he wanted to discuss. He could probably do it in an email to send that out to us, and if you want to meet, then yes.
We can meet next Tuesday if we have to, after ordinance. You can come by,
Okay.
or before or after, you know, it takes 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
So we're meeting on Monday with somebody?
Monday, we're meeting, the Finance Committee is meeting with the
Oh,
Board
we're all
of
getting together on Monday
Education.
anyway, so
Yeah.
5:30 for that finance
Monday.
meeting.
Right, so we can get together at
If we have
5 or
to.
5:15
Sounds
to,
right. I'm gonna
Well,
look right.
make sure you just, if you can
see if
get
it's
your
on the-
list together
Yeah,
on Monday.
There's one item I'm still waiting for some cost numbers on, and hopefully I'll have it at least close enough for
Right,
review
close in.
by Monday
Yep.
or Tuesday.
Yep. I was done. Thank you.
Bruce?
Yes, the Public Works Committee met on Monday, and most of the items were covered by either Steve or Eric. The one that wasn't is that the committee has reviewed the situation with the Cedar Ave drainage questions, and at this point, the committee is recommending no further action. I mean, we'd be happy to revisit it if something changes regarding drainage or environmental, or it gets a particularly severe storm that changes something, but at this point, we're recommending no further action.
Goes away quick enough.
I believe so, yeah,
Right, Steve?
from what I've seen and from what the engineer's telling us.
Feasible.
Any of the residents in that area are always welcome to contact us if they have additional information they'd like us to consider, but
The residents we've spoken to are all satisfied.
yeah, for now, we're recommending no further action.
Can always be addressed.
Yes.
That's
We-
fair.
We never completely
Never
take
run out of
any,
asphalt.
we never take anything off the table. If it's a problem for a resident, they're welcome to contact us, and we'll take another look at it.
Fair enough. Dominic?
This afternoon, myself and the mayor, we had an opportunity to, I guess, observe the Hawthorne High School Peer Leader Contest and their program that they're presenting this week or next week.
right, they did a 90-second public service announcement as
They won
part
a
of a
couple years ago, and
right,
it
part of a
looks very good.
competition at William Patterson when all of the high schools get together and discuss things. They have a general meeting. We did win a couple of years ago with the photo voice, and today's video looked pretty good, but we're not, they're only allowed to show it so many times to let debuts at their next meeting. So maybe after it's done, we can put it on, show
We're
it
very
on
proud
our,
of our kids. They do
on our
a
channel.
very
Yeah,
good
did it,
job.
did a great job writing, producing, directing, acting.
On April 30th, I just remind people, we have the dinner that Miss Alliance is sponsoring, and a dress rehearsal.
Correct.
I'm not going to mention anything else, that's it. There's a reason why. At 5:30 on April 30th, the high school.
John?
Yes, the Board of Health, the rabies clinic will be held May 14th. I believe it's either 6 or 6:30 at the ambulance garage. So if you have to call the Board of Health to see what paperwork you need, please do so. But it's May 14th.
And you must have a dog license or a cat license.
You must, yeah. And you have to have a dog or a cat.
Yeah.
Shut up, Bruce.
Could bring your pet skunk, I guess.
As long as it's a skunk.
It's hard to follow, but last night at the planning board, the zoning ordinance was distributed, as the mayor said, for purview and comment. They also reviewed the antennae ordinance that we approved last meeting, and that was reviewed and found to be consistent with the master plan, and a letter to the governing body will be sent as per the requirements of land use law. The Chamber of Commerce obviously is getting ready for the farmers market, which will start in June and run till October. And they're looking at a potential golf outing in conjunction with the Fair Lawn Chamber of Commerce at the Parsippany Knoll West Country Club. Fair Lawn normally does something, but we're finding a lot of chambers are kind of joining each other to combine their events to make them a little bit bigger, and so cut down on everybody doing their own thing. So probably like the middle of August is sometime, it's not in the fall or spring where a lot of people have them, so just throwing that out there for, keep your calendar open. I know that there's one coming up in May that we all should support as well. Plug.
May 23rd.
There you go. I give you a little help. Okay, that's all I had. Correspondence, we have none, but we have bills. Have a motion to approve the bills and forward them to the treasurer for payment.
So moved.
Motion by Bertolo, second by Bennett. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertolo?
Abstain on Downs Tree Service, yes on all others.
Lane?
Abstain on the ambulance corps and the fire department, yes on all others.
Mealy?
Yes, at all of them.
Sinning?
Yes.
Matthews?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment, now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard, come forward to the microphone, state your name and address. Come on down.
I haven't listened to these in a long time. Generally, they start at 8 o'clock, the regular sessions. Robert Fry, 337 Beverly Lane. We all know that road. Okay? It's a private easement. Unfortunately, I was the first one to move there, and the deed has my easement on it, which means I own it. Correct, Michael?
It's a private road, but everybody who lives on the road
Right.
has an easement across the property, but you are the person who owns it, but everyone else has easement rights over it.
Right. According to your memorandum of August 2000, title appears to be remaining Freigold, the original developer of the property, by virtue of the original deed to Freigold, to Muscarelli, and Menina. And what they did, the day of the closing, I was out of my house, my in-laws were out, come to the closing, and boom, on the deed says an access road, 25 foot on my deed. What was I gonna do? Gotta close. Where am I gonna go with 6 people? We've been repairing it for the past 37 years. And I think we spent about $9,000 in 37 years. Now it's really in bad shape. Got an estimate of $20,000. I know there's other easements in the town, and they've had theirs repaired. What I'm asking, my neighbors were supposed to come, but I told them to oh, here, come on up. Didn't see you.
I thought we started at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
Seven.
sorry. Go ahead, give your name and that.
I'm Casey Kolstad. I'm one of Bob's neighbors. I'm the third house in, 359 Goffle Hill, Beverly Lane. So I apologize, I kind of missed the first half, so.
Basically, what I'm saying is that the easement's on my deed. The only reason being is I was the first one to move in.
Right.
And I'm sure something was done with the town at that time. Hey, put the easement in, don't worry about it. We'll take it, you know. That's what they told me. Well, now we gotta really do a major repair. It's gonna be over $20,000. Approximately 22,000. What we're asking is if the town could pay for it, and we can pay you back over a period of time, like you do with sidewalks.
Lori brought this to my attention about 2 weeks ago. I think Casey came to visit Town Hall. The issue is, it's a private road, and so we have other private roads throughout the community. We don't maintain private roads, we don't repair private roads, we don't pave them or anything like that. We did have one instance with Brockeisen Lane several years back where we took ownership of that road with working with those neighbors. It's a difficult situation because if we start fixing private roads, we're going to be doing it all over town. We're going to be doing people's driveways if we, so it's a slope that's difficult to go down. So What I'm saying is, we will talk about it, obviously, and take the request, and I'll speak to the mayor and the administrator, and then with the council. I just can't tell you that it's something I'm going to likely endorse.
Can I ask a question? You took ownership of one of the private roads. Was there reasoning behind that?
Yeah, there was. It was owned by an association that didn't use it, and they gave us a building plot as payment for taking over the road. So we own a building plot at the end of the road, which we're using for open space.
Right, yours is a different scenario because the road is actually owned by one of the individuals and used by the rest, so, yeah. Well, but again, I think that, and I've spoken to people who live on that road, you and I have spoken before, the fair result is that everybody pitches in and bears part of that cost.
Yeah,
And that's,
we've all agreed to do that, but it's a big chunk right now. As long as you do, don't you, with sidewalks, don't you assess the homeowner and they pay you over time?
We do, but it's a different scenario because the law allows us to assess for sidewalks and like, this is not something, this is not a right of way, it's not in the right of way, things like
So
that.
is there any option to have the town take ownership of the road, of the easement?
We could look at it. The road is not to borough standard, I know that.
No,
So,
only 25 feet
right.
wide.
So ordinarily, the answer would not be yes, but we'll talk about all the options.
Because, part of the only thing that we have, and originally when I first did come down and was reaching out to you, was to see if we could do something where the town would take ownership of the road, because obviously it would take that burden off of us, and a big burden off of Bob, because the way it does sit now, even though he's an original house owner, when and if he puts his house up for sale or he looks to move out, this is good. It's going to be a hardship for him to sell, because now you're trying to put the house up and sell it to somebody else that now has to own a road and have to get the two other people on the road to be in agreement if it does need repair, if it does need repaving.
It's 3 households,
It's
including you?
3
That's
households.
So, I've been living there for 5 years, when we moved in, we knew it was an easement, and the term private road always came up. It would be great if we had a private road in the back of our house and we had front street access, like Goffle Hill. Our only access is through Beverly Lane. So as much as it is private for the 3 homeowners, everybody else uses it. It is used by the postal, it is used by UPS, there are other trucks that come up, people from Horizon walk up the street. It's a hazard now, and that's why we got together and said that it's not.
I'm surprised they come up. Usually in a private road, they make you put your mailbox, everything.
The mailbox is already
on
in.
mailbox.
But
Oh,
they do,
okay.
when
It's
there's,
on Beverly Road.
Okay.
if you know my wife, Amazon is at our house every day.
Yeah.
They drive right up there.
Find it.
You know you just dug a hole, she's watching on TV.
Hope
She's watching.
They're trying to bounce all over.
When
But
they start with those
that's
drones.
where we were at. So, we're 3 homeowners, we're in a pickle, and, it's a tough situation. The road is dangerous the way it is. Patching it here and there, a couple dollars each isn't so much of a big deal. We maintain, in the winter, we'll plow it, we both plow it.
Well, the town comes up. The town does do that.
They've been
Years
put
past,
out, yeah.
we've moved in. They have done that. See, what they also did, which was strange, the manhole covers all say Borough of Hawthorne. They did on our street, to build the ground wall. Why, I don't know.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't promise you guys anything, but we will talk about and we'll lay out the options of what we can and can't do.
Yeah, the one problem with the borough taking over, just so you know, that for the borough to, you to dedicate to the borough, it does have to meet the borough's standards, which is not just width, it's section. It's how the road is built.
Right.
And I can tell you,
I know.
I've never seen a private road that comes close to the way we build roads for the town.
Right.
Just to let you know.
Do you know what the standards are?
Yeah, 642. So 6 inches of dense graded aggregate,
Right.
4 inches of stabilized base, and 2 inches of top asphalt. That's our standard road in the borough is a 642 section.
And how about storm drain?
So, right, well, actually, we could accept the road without it. You can have sheet flow. If the road's properly crowned, it goes off. That can be done. We prefer storm drains only because of icing conditions, but that wouldn't be a requirement. But the 642 would be a requirement.
Yes.
And that's pretty expensive to do if the road is built that way. And that's how it is.
Yeah, I would note that when we took over Brockheisen, we improved it to those standards, and we assessed the property owners along it for the cost of getting it up to those standards.
Yeah.
Right now, it's 25 feet wide, 340 feet long.
Well, the width's okay.
Yeah.
It's that kind of a collector street, 24 feet is minimum width.
No.
So you don't miss on the width.
No.
It's the section where you're gonna miss.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we don't know what's happening.
we don't, there's probably not much.
I mean, I would
under there.
assume there's gotta be some kind of substructure under, because the sewer does run right underneath the road. All our houses drain there, and that's how the sewer line goes out. That's why the manhole covers are on it. So it had it been built, I would assume. with
We
some
must have
sort of
a,
standard.
Well, my guess is
We'd
it
have
wasn't built to
utility
borough
use, I
standards,
think.
that's why it's a private road.
Yeah.
That's generally the reason they're private roads is because the developer doesn't want to spend the money to build it up.
And that might make perfect sense, just like Bob said, when he went to closing, all of a sudden this thing is thrown on, and he has to get it done. And everything that I looked up, and I might be wrong, when all the construction on my house, I think it was the second or last one built.
Yeah, it was the last one built on that
It
street.
maybe should have been positioned to see if the town would, or what's the standards to build it would be, and then see if it could be a public road at that point. But it wasn't done, so now we're here. And we wouldn't be against if it is to fix it and bring it to standards, and then have the town adopt it or take it, because it would be beneficial for us if we would get a road and it could get off his deed.
Right, and it would be,
Well, that may be
if the
something
town
you wanna
owned it,
talk-
it'd be easier to
Yeah.
sell our houses
Maybe when I talk to
eventually
the
too.
attorney about
Yeah.
doing that, about
Yeah.
bringing up the borough standards, then dedicating it to the borough,
Yeah.
and then being assessed for that.
We're gonna have to, again, we look at the issue, it's not undoable, it's possible, it's just a question of, we really have to look at what's the best approach.
Does Amazon
Something,
bring asphalt?
I don't know.
eventually they won't need the road, they're just gonna fly in anyway, so.
Yeah, I do remember them telling me that there's, in that development, there's
Gonna need a
another two
cul-de-sac, I
houses
can't.
on Garfield Road.
Just be a
built
straight
by the
line.
same
Gotta
builder.
be a way to turn
Their
around. It's gotta
driveway on Garfield Road.
They don't have the
The
same trucks.
county
I paid
made them put that
$12,000 for my
that
driveway.
private road in.
$20,000 for a
because
road
you're coming
doesn't
up
sound too
to Hurd,
bad.
They didn't want driveways going out to Garfield Road where we are. That's what I was told.
but you'd have a steep driveway too,
Yeah.
going down to your houses.
Yeah.
But that's
Lane.
exactly what the problem was. The problem is what you're saying, that when it was approved, it did have access to a road, but it was an impossible situation. So the thought was last minute, more or less.
Probably, yeah.
That's really how it
Mountain
happened.
Lane is the same thing.
Yeah. Mountain Lane
Houses
does
are
have the same issue.
Fred on,
Nobody's around anymore that.
Yeah.
Were built.
Yeah, no, but that was it. They do have frontage technically on a road, but there's no way to get there.
Never, you
Just
know,
too steep?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
too
awful bad.
steep and it's very dangerous.
Yeah, you would never,
You,
Never come down.
no.
worse than McFarland.
you need a very
Yeah,
winding,
yes, it just drops, yeah.
Yeah, it would be impossible.
Or he would have had to brought in so much fill to make it,
Or build retaining wall. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, that's all we have.
All right, we'll work with you on it, though.
We can do.
We'll see
The
what-
ideal thing was if you could take over the street.
Because your other neighbor.
This is my other neighbor.
And he agrees.
Absolutely.
Just say
better late than never. It's now yours, you've agreed.
The other two said that you'll pay for everything.
All right.
Okay.
Or do you need his name for the,
Yeah.
Why don't you put your-
Steve Sherman,
And your address,
347 Garfield Road,
Okay.
Well, Beverly Lane.
Beverly Lane.
AKA.
Right?
Because all of our legal addresses are Garfield Road.
Correct.
Yeah, our legal address,
Yeah.
all of us is Garfield Road. But
All right.
delivery address is Beverly Lane.
All right,
Michael,
we'll see
do you
what
want
we
to
can do.
just let
When we first
Mr.
moved
Sherman know
in,
what they
we
talked
came
about?
down here when Mayor Bay was mayor. The original neighbor and I said, we live on a street with no name. And everybody started laughing. And he said, all right, we'll call it Beverly Lane.
He's a quick problem solver. Why don't you,
ask
other
the
neighbor,
neighbor to have it take-
let Mr. Sherman know what we all talked about.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
So we leave it,
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll get back. I have contact for you guys, so
Yeah.
we'll get in touch.
Great.
And we'll work it out.
And you said 642, right?
Streets how long?
340 by 25.
Yeah, 642 is the standard.
All right.
6 inches of BGA, 4 inches of stabilized base, 2 inches of
I
top.
don't know. 642.
Yeah, just if you call a contractor, just tell them you want it built to municipal road standards.
Okay.
They'll know exactly what it is. There's no mystery there.
I spoke to two, this one, Mashoni, another one.
There's a lot of guys that do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to be heard? Seeing none, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Bertolo, second by Bennett, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Bennett, second by Bertolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next regular meeting of the municipal council is Wednesday, May 1st at 7 PM.
I will not be here.
We're adjourned.